Howdy, Bass Nation. Gonna wait for a few people to get on here. Looks like people are joining pretty quick. Went from 10 to 24 to 27 real fast. So we'll just give it a few minutes before we get started. While we're waiting, just want to throw out that I just got a text message that the Fishing for Freedom tournament on Truman, I believe it is looking for boat captains for October 10th. So if anybody's interested in boat captaining for the Veterans Fishing for Freedom event on October 10th, reach out to Dale Silva with GMO Custom Rods, which can also repair your rods or build you custom rods, or you can reach out to Fishing for Freedom directly. So they have a website as well. So, all right, looks like we got 37 people on here. So we're just going to go ahead and kind of jump into it. I'm going to bounce back and forth between the comments section as stuff comes in, and we'll do kind of one thing at a time here. Let me put up my information here just so everybody knows my number. Let's see here. Let's get rid of that little ticker while we're talking here. All right. So try to keep this as organized as possible. And like I said, I'll bounce back and forth between comments. If you guys can hear me okay, if one person could just comment real quick just to make sure the comments are working. While we're waiting for the last few people to get on, I do want to go over some information for the Big Lake Division. I'm going to do registration a little bit different for Big Lake Division. Same setup. The only difference is we're going to do boat draw based off of how fast you get your registrations in. So we're going to open that up on October 1st. And on October 1st, you'll be able to submit your registration. As soon as you get your Google Doc in, that is your boat number. So it's going to go in timestamp order. That way, hopefully that will speed up the registration process and not be so last minute. We had a good 20 to 30 boats in the last week, which has made for a lot of 10 to 12-hour days for me. So trying to make it a little bit more efficient. So we'll keep the same for Kansas all the way through, and then Missouri and Oklahoma, the Big Lake Division, will do timestamps. So first thing to go over now that we got 40 people on here is the Melvern tournament. So the Melvern ramp, let me kind of pull up some stuff here. Give me just a second, work on how to do this real quick. All right, so the Melvern ramp, let's pull it up. For the flow of traffic, if you guys can see that on the screen, the yellow is what I expect the flow of the boats pulling into the parking lot. If you guys can prep your boats either somewhere by those vault toilets before you turn down, or before you get down the ramp, get your boats loaded and prepped and ready to go. Kind of circle to the right, straighten out your boat, back the boat in, launch your boat. Launch your boat. When you pull out, this is the important part. When you pull out, let's feed the parking lot on the right-hand side. When you're coming up the ramp, go to the far right-hand side first. Let's fill up that back row. I think it'll hold about 15 boats. I got 1 through 12 on here just to kind of show it. And then after we're done filling that section, let's fill the center row on the right-hand side to get another 30 boats there. So pull through all the way through so somebody can pull in right behind you, and then we'll just keep doing the domino effect. If we do closest to the lake first and work our way out, that will be easier than somebody getting stuck all the way down and not having a spot left. So make sure we fill the closest parking spots to the lake first, work our way back. That way, once those are full, you'll follow the blue line over to the far other side and do the same concept on the other side. Anybody have any questions about that? Why I have this map pulled up. This is the Eisenhower East ramp, which is closest to the dam on the state park side. So there's 2 ramps in the Eisenhower State Park, and this is the Eisenhower East, which when you come through the gate, you'll take you'll go straight and left the whole way. So until just follow the boat ramp signs, you should never have to take a right-hand turn. If you guys are wanting to launch at another ramp, that is allowed. You are not allowed to go graphing or anything like that. So make sure that you just have your graph turned on the chart plotter and not sonar, and you're not out scoping out spots before anybody else has a chance. Get caught doing so, you will be disqualified. So just come straight from wherever you launch, straight to the launch cove if you decide to launch at the ramp on the other side of the dam or the other state park, because you don't want to mess with the traffic. If you do that, you do have to come straight to Wayne. You're not allowed to trailer your fish over, so you better have talons or power poles, or rent one of those $10 spots at the slip there, which I'm going to rent one as long as they are open, so that way we have access to that in the morning. They are supposed to be open, so I'm going to go down there tomorrow and get that taken care of. Anybody have any questions about the flow of traffic for launch? When we get you guys' boat numbers, I expect boats 1 through 20 to be there 5:30 to 5:40 at the latest to get your boats in the water. Boats 20 through 40, sometime before 6. Boats 30 through 70, whatever, 6 to 6:30 will be fine. So we expect all boats to be in the water, no later than really 6:30, 6:40. So make sure you're at least no later than 6:20, 6:15, 6:20 pulling into the ramp if you're a late boat number. So if nobody has any questions about this slide, I'm going to switch to another slide here. So once we got all the boats launched, we're going to do the flow of boat traffic. You're going to stage kind of out here where that circle is. You'll probably take up a lot more of room than this with 70-something boats. We'll be taking up half this cove. But you want to be, especially if you're new, you want to be in speaker sound of the dock, so that way if you have any last minute things as we're going through rules and stuff, you can hear them. So I want you guys staging out here. If you don't have shallow water anchors, if you have shallow water anchors, just find a spot on that side of the boat dock, the one that's for the boat ramp. Find someone on that side that you can beat your boat on. Don't beat your boat or use the slips over there to stage, because you're going to have to try to cross traffic, and that's not going to work too well. So stage out there in the middle, or if you have talons, stage up there on shore on that side. We're going to idle by the boat ramp dock, and I want your guys' live wells open and running. Have your nets out, and that's when you're going to pick up your buoy. Let me show you what a buoy is for the people that are new. Hold on one second. All right, for the people that are new, every boat number, or every boat gets their boat number buoy. This is how we know if you made it back to us safely. This is a very important part of this puzzle. I would not be able to sleep at night if I don't get one of these back. So we have to turn these in, so you have to collect them as you go through. That's how we know you launched. That's how we know you returned safely. So let's pull back up that ramp. You're going to idle back by that boat ramp. You're going to get a buoy. Steve French is coming to help. I believe Judy's coming as well, my wife, and probably a few other parents to volunteer for launch in the morning. Help direct traffic flow would be great. So we're going to idle by that dock, and then you're going to idle past the little community slip there that you can rent. And that's where I want you to pull your kill switch. I'll have somebody on that dock waiting for you to pull your kill switch on that outside corner of that dock. So make sure you pass that outside corner, pull your kill switch, and then once you've pulled your kill switch, restart your motor. Make sure you get all the way outside the marker buoy before you get on pad. Anybody have any questions about this slide before we move forward? Don't see any questions coming in. Give it another second or two just to make sure there's not a delay. All right, no questions came in, so we're going to go ahead and slide on to the next slide. There will be an off limits period because we're launching junior high and high school on the same day. There's also going to be fish being released in here, so we want to make sure that nobody's fishing from point to point. Basically 50 feet away from that community slip, point to point. So don't cast past that line. Don't have your boat positioned past that line, casting the other way. Make sure that you guys are at least 50 feet out from that dock, and then point to point if you guys do come in here to fish this other part of this point or the other side of that other point. Anybody have any questions about that off limits area? All right, if we don't have any questions about that, we're going to move on to the next thing. This is the overview of the lake. We are taking off out of that cove down by the dam. It'd be on the upper side of this map. And then this lake lays basically east to west. We have a very light wind scheduled this weekend, so that's good. There is quite a few arms on this lake. We do have 70, I think 3 boats for Melvern, which means there's going to be a lot of boats on, prime fishing spots. If there's a spot that you want to fish and you think a boat's running one direction, pull up a few hundred feet away. Don't blow out their fishing spot, but pull up a few hundred feet away and ask them which way they're running. We don't want to have anybody, just because a boat's pointing east doesn't mean they're necessarily fishing east. They could be kind of pulling up 50 feet and then drifting back, or stuff like that. So make sure that everybody's got good etiquette out there and they're using, very professional sportsmanship out on the water. This is a lot of boats for a Kansas lake. We didn't expect to have more than 75. We got 76 at Perry and 73 at Melvern, so we're right there at what I was hoping to be our max. So anybody have any questions about how the lake works? That is all day, Emily. We're keeping that all day. That will also give the little kids a place to fish as well. I know that we have a lot of, 2 or 3-year-olds up to 8-year-olds that come out and watch their siblings. It gives them an area to fish as well. So that will be all day for that off limits. All right, let's see here. For check-in, I'm going to pull back up the map of the zoom in here of the previous one. Let's see here, brand. All right. So when you guys come back in the ramp, I want you guys to kind of follow that same flow we followed when you guys pulled out your cars. Come down, get your boats, and then go back up and try to find the spots on the right that are available first. And because those are the ones that are coming in first for check-in. And the same thing goes for your later boats. If you're a later boat, you'll come up and you'll go to the left because those spots should be available. Our trailer will be down by the cement, by the ramp, on one side or the other. Which side is the most level right now? We usually put it on the side closest to the slip. Last year during a fundraiser, I couldn't put it there and I had to put it on the other side. But we have to be pretty close to water so we can get the fish back in water. We're not using a live release boat this year. We are using a refresh tank, which I'll talk about the refresh tank shortly and why that's important. Let's see here. When it comes to check-in, you guys have to be back to that inside the no wake buoy or inside the off limits period before your scheduled time. So if you have a 3:10 check-in time because your flight's 3:10, you need to be inside that buoy before 3:10 and then turn in your buoy at the end of that dock. We'll have somebody there. If you want to stage your boat in the marina slip there, if you rented a spot or if we have spots open that we can use, depending on how many are rented, we will allow you to use those, but you need to idle by that dock and turn in your boat float so we know you were on time, and then go stage in that marina slip. Go back and check, see if there's any questions real quick. Joey Batesel asked, is the marina off limits? So from my understanding, the Kansas law now, or the Kansas passed a deal for marinas to be no fishing within 50 feet. So if they are posted no fishing within 50 feet, which I believe Melvern and Perry are now posted, you guys will not be able to fish those. So you guys can fish the shoreline on the opposite side as long as you're 50 feet away, or the backs of the pockets, stuff like that, but you cannot fish the docks if they are marked no fishing within 50 feet. So I believe Melvern is now posted. They were always little sticklers on that anyway. So Perry didn't used to be, but now they are. Let's see here. All right, we're going to get into Perry for a minute, the flow of it, and then we'll talk about rules and stuff. So for the Perry State Park, and speaking of which, all these maps of where we're launching from are on Kansas Youth Bass. If you click on the schedule tab, it actually has the Google directions to both ramps. You can literally click on it and hit navigate to on most cell phones, and it should take you right to where I dropped the pin. So if you guys are coming in the Melvern ramp, you can technically, the Perry ramp, you can technically get down here by 2 different directions. You can take that left when you're coming down the hill and go by Catfish Alley Campground and by Lakeview Campground and come in that way, which is kind of where I started my yellow line. Or if you circle all the way around through the wooded area, you can come in that way. But I want you guys coming in the side where the vault toilets are in the parking lot. We're going to hang down by the water, and then you're going to do the same thing. Back your boat in, and then the green line's the assumption that you're pulling your boat out. And then let's fill this farthest row away first, 1 through 10. It'd actually be like 1 through 20 to be technical. And then double park down the center line after we filled all those all the way up. But we want to start on the side closest to the what is that, Pelican Campground. So that side of that boat ramp, I believe that's the south side. So the south side of that boat ramp, we want to fill that parking spot and then work our way north on both rows. So if we do this, it'll be really smooth in the morning and it won't be hard to launch 70 something boats. I fished in the Bassmaster Opens and we're able to launch 300 boats in just literally about an hour and a half. So we can easily do 75 in an hour. So for the off limits, or not the off limits, for the idle through for Perry, I want you guys to stage. We're going to kind of go through this the opposite direction that we normally do. It'll be kind of like working at Wilson, how we come through the other way. So the staging area, I want you guys to stage out off that point. If you guys have shallow water anchors, obviously you can get up in there in that cove. But I want you to idle by the only dock there at that ramp as well and get your buoy number and your live well. Remember, you're idling by. Anglers, have your net out, stay seated, catch the buoy, have your live wells open and running. And then you're going to idle by that little itty bitty point there and then pull your kill switch once you pass that point. Make sure you pass the point just in case boat doesn't start. There's not a choke up between that point and the ramp. Same thing at Melvern. Don't pull your kill switch before you get that marina dock at Melvern. So pull your kill switch on that point. Once you get out past all the boats, there's going to be 76 on this lake that day. So once you get out past all the boats and the no wake pad, you can get on pad. Anybody have any questions about Perry so far? Give it just a minute for anybody to ask some questions as I look through my notes, make sure I didn't miss anything. While we're waiting for anybody to ask questions, I do want to make sure that everybody knows about our sponsors for KBN or for the youth program. We do have wholesale batteries, which is awesome. They now gave me 10 batteries to carry around this season because we're doing so many tournaments. So if you guys have battery problems out there on the lake, whether it's practice day, if you're practicing on Friday for Melvern and you have battery issues, let me know because I'm towing the trailer down there tomorrow afternoon. First thing late morning, early afternoon, I'll be towing the trailer down there. So if you have battery issues, let me know. I've got enough trolley motor batteries to literally replace all three in 27s and 31s, which are the two most common batteries. And then I have quite a few starting batteries as well. Busting Lips donates some tackle. K-Guard Leaf Free Gutter Company. Cast King Rods and Reels, which is first place prize this year, is the highest in rod plus a reel for both anglers. And then we're paying 2nd through 6th on the high school side because we have so many boats. And then we're also going to pay 2nd and 3rd on the junior side as well in prizes. And then you obviously get trophies for 1st and plaques for 2nd and 3rd. And you guys are all competing for the national championship as well. DW Marketing, Shelter Insurance with Mike Bean, whose kids are also in the program, and he runs the Manhattan Bass Club. So if you guys need a quote on insurance, give them a call. Temptation Tackle, everybody in the program gets 50% off Temptation Tackle if you use promo code YOUTH50. And then Balls Out Mounts, the last 2 years they gave our state championships a mount. I need to clarify that they're still going to do that for us this year. They have not responded yet because I haven't sent them the email. Cast King Rods and Reels, you also get 15% or 10% off using promo code SPTBKC. So let's see if we had any comments. Are all docks off limits at Perry? All the marina docks that are posted are off limits. The stretch of docks up by the one arm, I do not believe count, and I don't believe they're posted. They weren't last time I was out there. So if anybody's been out there in the last couple of weeks, I haven't been out there in at least a month and a half, and nothing was posted on those because I fished them. So it's, from what I understand, it's only the marina docks that Kansas is saying that on, but that could have changed. There is a idle through period on Perry. If you guys go up underneath that, I believe it's the 237 bridge there by the two marinas. There's the Sailboat Marina on the one side and the, I believe it's called the Ozaki Marina on the other side. That is an idle through zone. If you guys get busted running through there, if anybody videotapes you running through there, you will be disqualified. So make sure you idle through there. That goes for any rules. If anybody videos you guys breaking rules, it will be disqualification. And if it's a serious rule, it could be even more serious as a ban. So, or if it's multiple infractions for that matter. All right, we're going to move on. Let's go down to take off that overview. All right, so for the lakes, Black Bass Pass is so you can keep fish 15 inches all the way up to 17.99. That's for smallie spots and largemouth. So you can have a smallmouth, a largemouth, or a spotted bass. 15 inches or bigger if you have a Black Bass Pass. If you do not have a Black Bass Pass, you have to follow the creel limits for the lake, which I believe both of them are 18 inches. So make sure you have your Black Bass Pass. Docks, which we already kind of went over because of the comments. GMO Custom Rods is in for a donation rod with a lifetime warranty for next year. Okay, so GMO Custom Rods wants to come on for next year as a sponsor for a lifetime warranty rod. So that's awesome. Thanks, Linda. Talked about etiquette a little bit. If you're there's going to be some spots where people are going to want to fish close to each other, especially like the dam, points, stuff like that. Have common courtesy. Ask which way people are running. Ask if they care if you join them. Sometimes you can pull up on an entire school of fish and there's more fish there than 2 boats can catch. Don't know if that's necessarily going to be the case on a Kansas lake, but if you ask and they say yes, fish it with them. If they say no, hey, it was a free roll. If they are anchored, though, you need to follow the anchor rule. Let's see here. If you need to get past somebody that's in the back of a pocket, same thing. If they're pretty far back, don't blow past them in the back of a pocket trying to blow out their fishing spot to get to yours, to get them to leave. None of that kind of stuff. So if you need to get past somebody and you think they're, flipping a beaver dam or timber or something and they're not moving back, just ask them. Stay far enough away when you ask them to. Don't blow out their fishing spots. High school captain rules. You guys are allowed to basically watch them fish and drive the boat. You're not allowed to net fish. You're not allowed to tie their knots, anything like that. One thing you are allowed to do is if they get hung up and let's say it's an expensive lure, you could go up and help them get unsnagged. Once you've done that, that rod can not catch a fish until the next cast when the angler casts it again. So junior captain rules, you guys are allowed to run the trolling motor. You guys are allowed to net fish, help tie knots, stuff like that. Make sure you're using it as a teaching experience though, so that way when they get to high school, they're not lost. High school captains, if for any reason your boat is ever in danger, that is the one exception to the rule. If there's any safety issues or danger to the boat and you need a boat captain for a minute because the wind's blowing really strong, or there's a bunch of pleasure boaters out there, creating a bunch of wakes, that's a little bit different story. If any time the boat or the angler's lives are ever in jeopardy, you can jump up there and take over for a few minutes. If there's any high school captains that are boat captaining for new high school kids that do not know how to run a trolley motor, all you have to do is text me before the tournament, preferably the night before the tournament, so I can announce this boat's being ran by the high school coach. He's going to be teaching the anglers how to use the trolley motor throughout the day. Weather-wise, we have some pretty good weather. I don't know if it's going to be the greatest fishing weather because most of the reports I've read are pretty bluebird skies. Will be a slight chilly morning. We could have a chance for a fog delay. Just depends on the temps and how cold they get and how warm that water still is in the morning. But it's supposed to be pretty light winds. Anywhere from 6 to 12 is the most I've seen. So most of them say 6 to 10. Fish care. You guys make sure you guys are taking good care of your fish. You guys got G juice. If you hook a fish deep, it's always nice to have a Mountain Dew or some kind of citrus soda on you so you can pour it on the blood. That a lot of times will cauterize that wound, and then you can put them in the live well and they're usually fine. Another good thing to have if you don't have them is, if you're going to fish deep especially, is fin clips. Fin clips will help keep that fish upright. If you don't know how to fizz a fish, we can fizz it when you get back. If you have a way to keep it upright, that will keep that fish alive. If you do know how to fizz a fish, then go ahead and do that. That is one thing as high school or as the captains you guys can help out with. You guys can help out with coaling as long as the angler's doing it with you. You can't coal because he's fishing. You have to have one angler doing it with you. Same thing with, fizzing a fish. It's all about teaching them. Life jacket rule. State of Kansas is 12 and under at all times must wear their life jackets when they're on the vessel. That means all the time. Trolley motor, anything. They have to have it on. That's a huge fine if you get caught. So do not let your anglers 12 and under, and that would be a rule infraction with Bassmaster as well. A Bassmaster rule goes above and beyond the state rule, is 13 and over anytime the big engine's running. I don't care if you're starting the boat to pull away from a point or whatever, and you're like, come on guys, let's go, we're moving to our next spot. Wait until they are seated in their chair with their life jackets running, or life jackets on, before you start that motor. You can have them pull you out away from the rocks or whatever with the trolley motor before you start your motor if that's a worry. So other rule about life jackets is if your captain has the rule that on his boat, especially if he's a sponsor captain or a parent, if they say you have to wear a life jacket on their boat, that is the rule. No ifs, ands, or buts. You respect your captain. Speaking of respecting captains, I've loaned my boat out a lot over the years, and I know a lot of other people have. If you got, and I don't care if it's your parents' boat, sponsor boat, friend of a friend, whatever it is, take good care of that boat. Shouldn't find food in rod lockers, shouldn't find Oreos smashed in carpets. have respect, especially if a sponsored boat captain. You really need to ask him what's allowed on his boat. You shouldn't be taking, something that can melt like an Oreo as soon as it gets wet and just ruin the carpet of a boat. So, and don't leave people's food in their boat. Have common courtesy. Speaking of boat captains, make sure you're taking care of your boat captains. It's not it's not a cheap deal to take these kids out. So if you guys can at least pay for, food and help out with lodging or whatever, that's between you and the boat captain, but please take care of your boat captains. When it comes to measuring fish, we measure fish with the fin fanned, not pinched. So don't pinch the tail to get it longer. I know the state rule is fin pinched, but our rule with bass is fan the tail. We do have a courtesy board, so if you have one that's close on your board and you don't want to get penalized for bringing in a short fish, you can come up and borrow the courtesy board and double check it against your board and see what it's like. We use two of the same measuring boards. One of them's a little longer, but they're the same brand. They match up side by side. So our scales do open 1 hour prior. So the scales do open 1 hour prior. So if you're junior high, the scales will open at noon. And if you're high school, the scales will open at 2. The junior high weigh-in will be getting over about 150. So there won't be a whole lot of time in between. The scale's opening back up, but if you have to come in for any reason and you want to weigh your fish early, you can. Or if you just have this big limit and you got a fish that you're worried about possibly, dying, bring it to us and we can get it weighed early. Or we can get your bag weighed early, but once you're off the water, you're off the water. COVID rules, must wear a mask when you're on stage. Other than that, we're outdoors. So if you're more than 6 feet away from people or with the people that you came with, that's up to you guys. Or if your boat captain wants you to wear it, you have to wear it. But when you're on stage or at the check-in line, weighing your fish, measuring your fish at the live release tanks, please have your mask on. Out of the respect for other people, we want to make sure that we're not helping spread the virus. 18. When you're taking pictures with your fish, don't hold your fish out at like a 45-degree angle with their jaw. It can cause damage to their jaw and cause them not to be able to eat properly later on after you release them. So try to keep them vertical, straight up and down, or 2 hands horizontal if it's a big fish. After you weigh your fish, you guys can come off stage. You're going to circle the trailer. We're going to have the refresh tank like we used to have behind the trailer. That's a place to refresh your fish and get a photo. So at least get your fish back in the refresh tank for a minute or 2 before taking a photo, because they have been getting weighed. Want to get them oxygenated a little bit real quick. Then you can snap a quick photo, then refresh them one more time, and then go take them down to the water. That is a great time for the photo op, especially with the back of the trailer being wrapped. Trying to make sure we didn't miss anything else. If there's any rules being broken, make sure you guys videotape. That's the only way we'll accept it with the written. You got to follow the written rule. Anybody have any questions before we go over boat draw? I'm going to give it just a minute. Anybody have any questions before we go into boat draw? I got one other thing to cover before we go into boat draw too. Any questions? Hey, Jim, you gave us an upset face, angry face. What's upsetting you? Let us know. We can maybe possibly fix that. Also, that's it, really. Let's go over boat draw and registration. So I am still missing a couple payments. I know some people have said they're going to bring them to the ramp. If I don't have you posted for bringing it to the ramp, please let me know. I'm going to show that screen real quick. Can you hear me now? Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me now? Hello. Hello, testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Okay, sweet. I guess when I clicked out of the showing my face, it went away. Sorry about that. All right, so boat number 1, Grant Matthews, Wyatt Edson. First 15 boats are due back in at the even hour. So Grant Matthews, Wyatt Edson, 3 o'clock. Aiden Razzie and Corbin Swinson, boat number 2, 3 o'clock. Braxton Love and Colton Brack, 3 o'clock. Miles Wolfgang and Aisha Wolfgang are a junior high team. They're due back at 1 o'clock. Dylan Herring and Cade Gooding, boat number 5, due back in at 3 o'clock. Where was I at? Boat number 6, Cole Meyer, Timber Neal, 3 o'clock. Joey Batesole, Wyatt Balabradic, 3 o'clock. Boat number 7. Daxton Foose and Carson Abbott are boat number 8, due back in at 3 o'clock. Carson Youngblood and Sydney Hutchinson, due back in at 3 o'clock. Next 4 boats are junior high. Caleb Tobias and Isaac Tobias, 1 o'clock. Hunter Grantham and Levi Grantham, 1 o'clock. Cale Denny, Jonas Lawyer White, 1 o'clock. Bryant Heineck and Tanner Bruna, 1 o'clock. Next 2 boats are the last boats of the flight for the 3 o'clock flight or the 1 o'clock flight. Parker Welch, which is fishing without a partner, 3 o'clock. And then last but not least, Kyle Herman and Nicholas Herman. This is the last of the flight. I've got it color coded to make it easy for you guys on the website. So you guys will be able to refresh this. Just go to the website, hit boat draw, you'll know where you're at. Avery Bowen, Lake and Emmanuel are high school, 310, boat number 16. Levi Comba and Gavin Eastburn, junior, 110. Boat number 18, Jordan Thyme and Jacob Harmon, high school, 310. Drew Blassie and Carsey Winch, boat number 19, high school, 310. Kieran Langston, Wyatt Sutton, high school, 310. Boat number 21, Brooks Clevinger and Hal Leap, high school, 310. Boat 22, Cooper Line, which is fishing without a partner, 310 for high school. Boat number 23 is a junior high team, Keegan Brown and Finn Phillips, 110. Boat number 24, Dallas Whiteside and Aiden Manis, boat 24, which is doing at 310. Boat 25 is Colton Hutchison, Owen Blackburn, 310. 26, Tucker Gibb and Zane McFall, 310. 27 is Tyler Kendrick and Miguel Cooper, 310. Braden Rattle and Noah Jerky, 310 for boat number 28. The Tripe brothers, Ethan and Aiden, 310 for 29. Boat number 29. Boat number 30 is Landon Staines and Weston Barkley. They're a junior high team, doing it 110. That's the last of the 10 minutes after flight. Starting with boat number 31 is Spencer Madison and Logan Bessett. Boat 120, they're junior high. 32 is Kevin O'Brien, Noah Cush, 120 junior high. Evan Goring and Reed Stubbs, high school, 320. Landon Hammock and Drexel Gardner is 320. Austin Curtis and Todd Crossley, boat number 35 for 320. 36 is Braden Wilson, Colby Yell for 320. Boat 37 is a junior high team, which is Elijah Hyman and Elgin Sen, which is 120. Blake Peacher and Braden Stewart is 320 for boat number 38. Boat number 39 is Rylan Holzman and Logan Snyder for 320. Boat number 40 is Bryce Collins and Hayden Smith for 320. 41 is Lucas Schaefer Steele Smith for 320. Boat number 42 is Lathan Weiss and Bo Barnes for 320. Gage Maines and Carter Code is boat 43 for 320. Boat number 44 is Brock Herman and Brooks Lindbar for 320. Boat number 45 is Bivens and Lopez for 320. All right, that's the last of the 20-minute after flight. Remember, junior high is 1 o'clock, high school is 3 o'clock, and we're doing 15 boats for 10-minute increments. Boat number 46 is Peyton 4, Mason Suderman for 330. Maxwell Salwin and Brent Bikeman is boat 47 at 330. Boat 48 is Cooper Shannon and Caden Harmon for 330. Boat number 49 is Samuel Revel, Drew Stivers for 330. Boat 50 is Trevor Cowman, Hunter Cowman for 330. Boat 51 is Cameron McClellan, Caleb Carter, 330. Boat 52, Jacob Disney, Jacob Macy, 330. Boat 53, Rex Rierson, Brody Myers, 330. Dempsey Hops, Blaine Barkemeyer, junior high, 130. Dane Kobriger, fishing without a partner, 330, boat 55. Boat 56 is Carter Markley and Gavin Denny, 330. Sean Ferguson and Noah Munson is 330. 58 is Bryce Ruda, AJ Thetford, 330. Ryder Maines and Mason Chapman, 59 for 330. Boat 60 is Levi Sorensen and Andrew Cloyd. 3:30. That's the last of the 30-minute after the hour flight. Last flight of the day, due back in at 3:40. If you're high school, which is all high school in the last flight on this day, Gavin Essex and Hayden Sumi, 3:40. So these are all doing at 3:40, so I can quit saying that. Weston Clements and Benjamin Westbrook, 62. Tyler Bean and Owen Roush, 63. Nick Sohu and Hagan Hamblin, 64. Vote 65 is Jack Fink and Jack Bolin. Vote 66 is Jordan Carter and Braden Claycamp. Vote 67 is Jace Comba and Isaiah Collison. Vote 68 is Will Hutzel and Jack Olson. 69 is Brody Meyer, Bronk Kiefer. 70 is Garrett Landis, Kel Harlan. Vote 71 is Brock Watkins, Chandler Wheeler. Vote 72 is Jackson Opine, Luke Crane. And vote 73 is Harrison Ross, fishing by himself to round it out at 3:40 check-in time for vote number 73. We're going to get into Perry Lake. And reminder, these are on the website, so you guys can go back and check it. One thing you'll see on this form is if you're more than 15 minutes late, it is a DQ, and every minute is a quarter of a pound. So make sure you guys aren't late. We will be making sure we cross-check this very closely. Vote number 1, Ryder Maines and Mason Chapman for high school, 3 o'clock check-in time on Perry Lake. Vote number 2, so I'm going to stop 1 through 15 is even hour. Carson Youngblood, Sydney Hutchison, vote number 2. Vote number 3, Tyler Bean and Owen Roush. Vote number 4, Brock Herman, Brock Slinber. Vote number 5, Tucker Gibbs, Zane McFall. Vote 6 is Dylan Herring and Kate Gooding. Vote 7 is Jack Fink, Jack Bolin. Vote 8 is Gavin Essex and Hayden Sume. Vote 9 is Rex Roosh and Brody Myers. Vote number 10 is Daxton Foose and Carson Abbott. Vote number 11 is Sean Ferguson, Noah Munson. Vote number 12 is Cannon Duncan, Grant Meyer. Vote number 13 is the Tripe brothers, Ethan and Aiden. Vote number 14 is our first junior high coming back in at 1 o'clock, Bryant Heineck and Tanner Bruna. Vote number 15 is Aiden Manus and Dally Whiteside. I might be missing a character there. I thought it was Dallas. That's the end of the even hour flights. 10 minutes after, vote number 16, Joey Batesville, Wyatt Balabradic. Vote 17, Spencer Madison and Logan Bussett, which is junior high, so that's 110. Rylan Holzman and Logan Snyder is high school, so that's 310. Brandon Nolan and Will Lowen is 110 for junior high. Vote 20 is high school. Cameron McClellan, Caleb Carter, 310. Vote 21 is another junior high team, Ridge Lobb and Clayton Crookham for 110. Tyler Kendrick and Miguel Cooper, high school, 310. Cody Bivens, Isaac Lopez, high school, 310. Braden Wilson, Colby Gill, vote number 24, high school, 310. Vote number 25 is a junior high team. Vote number 25, Keegan Brown, Finn Phillips doing it 110. Bowen and Emmanuel doing it 310 for vote number 26. Will Hutzel Olson, 310 for vote 27. Schaefer and Smith, vote number 28, 310. Drew Blassie and Carson Kinch, 310 for vote number 29. And rounding out the 10-minute after flight is Miles Wolfgang and Aisha Wolfgang doing it 110 for junior high. Starting the 320 or 120 flights, depending on if you're high school or junior high, is 31, Samuel Rebel, Drew Stivers. Vote 32 is Kyle Herman, Nicholas Herman. Vote 33 is Trevor Kalman, Hunter Kalman. Bryce Collins and Hayden Smith is vote 34. Vote 35 is Braxton Love and Colton Brack. Vote number 36 is a junior high vote, Kel Denny, Jonas Lawyer White, 120. Vote number 37 is Parker Welch. Vote number 38 is Even Goring and Reed Stubbs. Vote number 39 is another junior high vote, Kevin O'Brien and Noah Cush for 120. Levi Sorensen, Andrew Cloyd for vote number 40. 41 is Cooper Shannon, Caden Harmon. Vote number 42 is Dane Koberger fishing by himself. Vote number 43 is Jace Comba and Isaiah Collison. Vote 44 is Cooper Line fishing by himself. Vote number 45, Levi Comba, Gavin Eastburn for junior high, 120. That rounds out the 20-minute after flight. All right, 30-minute after flight. 46 is Gage Main's Carter Code for 3:30, so 30-minute after flight. 47 is Lathan Vice, Bo Barnes, 3:30. 48 is Landon Hammock, Drexler Gardner for vote 48. Vote 49 is Kieran Langston and Wyatt Sutton. Vote 50 is Bryce Ruda and AJ Thetford. Vote 51 is Blake Peacher, and Braden Stewart. Vote 52 is Cole Meyer and Timber Neal. Vote 53 is a junior high vote coming back at 1:30 for Hudson Kamerick and Reed Rochelle. Vote number 54 is Peyton Four and Mason Suderman. Vote number 55 is Carter Markley and Gavin Denny. Vote 56 is Aiden Razzie and Corbin Swinson. Vote 57 is a junior high vote, Landon Staines and Weston Barkley for 1:30. Vote 58 is Cameron Lee and Blake Wishop. Vote number 59 is Maxwell Salwin and Brant Eichman. Boat number 60 is Mark Kalovich and Landon Gell, and that's a junior high boat doing at 1:30. That's the last of the 1:30 or 3:30 flights, depending on if you're junior high or high school. Boat number 61 starts us off with the 40-minute after flight. It's Grant Matthews, Wyatt Edson, 3:40. Colton Hutcherson, Owen Blackburn, boat 62. Boat 63 is a junior high boat. It's Hunter Grantham and Levi Grantham for 1:40. Austin Curtis and Todd Crossley are boat 64. Boat 65 is Derek Landis and Kel Harlan. Boat 66 is Jordan Carter and Brandon Claycamp. Boat 67 is a junior high boat, Dalton Wilson and Nathaniel Metler. Boat 68 is also a junior high boat, Caleb Tobiah and Isaac Tobiah, doing at 1:40. Boat number 69 back to high school for 3:40s, Braden Vredel and Noah Jerky. Boat 70 is Jordan Thime, Jacob Harmon. Boat 71 is Brody Moore, Bronk Kiefer. Boat 72 is Will Shepard, Miles McDaniel. Boat 73, Brock Watkins and Chandler Wheeler. Boat 74 is Jackson Opine, Luke Crane. Boat 75 rounds out our junior high, which is Garrison Curry and Parker Pettish, which is a 1:40 check-in. And last but not least, boat number 76 will have a 3:50 check-in time, Levi Griffith and Gareth Martin. That is it for boat draws. If you guys want to be able to access that, you just go to kansasyouthbass.com. Up in the upper left-hand side, there's the boat draw. It has your check-in times and your boat number. If you are boats 1 through 20, I expect you guys to be at the ramps really early. Let's get these boats in the water so we're not all choked up. We will start at safe light, which will be give or take 5 to 10 minutes from 7 o'clock, and depending on fog. So there's always a chance for fog in these fall tournaments. So make sure you're on the water no later than 6:30. Other than that, anybody have any questions before we log off and call it a night? That being said, speaking of questions, let me make sure my number's up here for you. So if anybody has any questions, you guys can call me. Let's see here. There we go. There's my cell number on the screen. If you guys have any questions or missed this live feed, I will post this to the website and to the YouTube channel. I actually will post this video to the website and Facebook and the YouTube channel for you guys to be able to refresh. So as soon as it gets a chance to upload, I'll post it to the website. So that way anybody can watch it, but you'll be able to watch the replay on Facebook and YouTube immediately. It takes like a minute or two for it to process, but it should be pretty quick. Anybody have any questions before we get off on here? Chris Madison, hey, no problem, man. It's a lot of work these last 2 weeks, but it's all worth it come tournament day. Wouldn't be able to do it without all the parents and boat captains. So would have never thought we'd be at this many boats. We had 89 total boats registered for 2 days. So we have 89 unique boats fishing over 2 days. We just have 73 of them coming one day. And let's see here, 73 on the first day and 76 on the second day, I believe is what it is. Yeah. Why do we have everybody on here still? Who's planning on fishing the Big Lake Division? I would love to know in the comments if your kids are planning on fishing the Big Lake Division. Are we going to have 75, 80 boats out of town too, or are we going to have less fields? Shapers say we are. Awesome. Don't forget that the Fishing for Freedom, Dale Silva with GMO Custom Rods is looking for boat captains for Fishing for Freedom. Speaking of GMO Custom Rods and Dale Silva, if you guys ever break a rod tip or something on your rod, his repairs are very reasonable and very good. He's fixed a few of my rods. So last but not least, one thing I didn't write down, but if anybody's able to help take down after Melvern especially, I could use 3 or 4 volunteers to help train tanks and load the trailer, and so we can get to the next lake. If that being said, if you're heading to Perry to jump on for a few hours for practice, I understand that if you can't help, but if there's a few teams that could help take down the trailer so we can all get over to Perry pretty quick, that'd be great. So give it just a few more minutes to make sure there's no questions coming in. Looks like we got a lot of people planning on fishing the Big Lake Division. It's going to be a fun season. If you've never fished, if you aren't planning on fishing the Big Lake Division, but you want to maybe try one of them, Palm de Terre in the fall is known to possibly catch a few muskies. So that's a bucket list fish for a lot of people. I've never caught one, so. Brian Hausman, boat captains can wear their inflatable life jackets, and I believe the state law is 16 and over for inflatables for youth, if I remember right. So, anybody have any questions? Remember, Wholesale Batteries gave us a bunch of batteries. If anybody has battery problems tomorrow, Saturday, or Sunday, if we don't have your battery, Randy's offered, or if we run low on batteries, Randy, the owner, has offered to run down and open up his store and grab some stuff if it really came down to it. We don't want kids not being able to fish. So, any of our new people have any questions? I know you guys can also text me, but might be a question somebody else has so we can answer it. We'll stay live for just a few more minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. Got some really nice rods from Cast King, speaking of which, for the first place prizes. I think they're $130 or $140 a piece on their website, and they're pretty nice. I was able to get one last year for my deep cranking rod, and pretty impressed with it. So that plus an elite reel, it's about $200 prize for each angler for first, and then we got all the prize boxes and stuff for 2nd through 6th for high school, and then plaques and trophies for 1st through 3rd. And then junior high will be first a rod and reel for each angler, and then 2nd and 3rd a prize box. So all right, if nobody has any questions, I'm going to probably log off here in just a few minutes. I've got to still run and pick up the trophies tomorrow, load all the prizes and stuff up, and get down there and set up in the morning. So Kim Wilson asked, what time would we like all the boats on the water? No later than 6:30, but if your boat 1 through 20, you probably should be getting there about 5:30 to 5:40 at the latest. We'll be down at the ramp probably 4:30 to 4:45 to 5 at the latest to set up some cones and some lights. So if you're an early boat, you need to be there early. If you're a late boat, you got about 20-30 extra minutes to get there in the morning. Prep your boats before you pull down the ramp. Don't be, finally putting your plug in and everything on the ramp. Get all that stuff up and done before you pull down the ramp. They did redo the ramp at Melvern too, so it's in good shape now. That was a big worry of mine, but they got her done. I think that's it. What is the name of the Perry ramp? We're launching out of state parks at both ramps. Don't forget that you can also access both of those ramps directions on the website. Go to Kansas Youth Bass. Let me pull that up real quick. KansasYouthBass.com. I even put map of the ramp up here with the schedule. It's always been there at the bottom of the schedule tab, but that way people know where to click. It's right down here at the very bottom. Say you want to go to Melvern, you can click on directions, and your phone should load your Google map and exactly how far you are away from there. I'm currently at my office. I'm an hour and 20 minutes away. Trying to make everything as user-friendly as possible and as organized as possible for people. I know with Bassmaster redoing the roster system on us last minute, kind of made for a headache for new teams to fishing with Nick. Do you need to pay to be into the state park? Yes, state park does require a permit. If you pay for it that day, they got a self-pay station. I believe it's $5 if I remember right. And if you got it with your tags, it's like 15 or 20 for the year pass. And you can also, if you're there during normal business hours, buy a year pass for 25, I believe. It's either 20 or 25 at the booth. But that would cover you here and Perry. So got to figure you're going to fish at least Wilson, probably at the state park, and I haven't looked at where we're launching at Glen Elder yet because they haven't gave me a permit. They won't let me buy the permit until October 1st. So that those tournaments are subject to change. If somebody tries to beat me there on October 1st, I'd hope they wouldn't do that to the youth, but you never know. Any other questions? Remember, you guys can also always follow for updates. KansasYouthBass.com is where you register, but you can always follow along for updates on KBNYF, which is Kansas Bass Nation Youth Fishing, on Facebook. We also have the YouTube channel, but I update Facebook the most because it seems like that's the best way to communicate with a lot of us. So put my number back on screen there for you. you guys have any boat problems or anything out on the water, please call me. Other than grabbing maybe breakfast in the morning, I plan on being at the ramp all day after that. So if you guys have any questions, I might launch the boat and come around and take some pictures. But if you have any questions or problems out on the water, give me a holler. It is a lake, so if I don't answer, also text, because sometimes text when you're in poor cell signal go through and phone call won't. It's weird. So don't see any other questions rolling in. I think I'm going to go ahead and log off on here. If you guys have any questions, please go ahead and text me, 913-562-4660. Don't forget, Fishing for Freedom is looking for boat captains, so be really cool to take out a veteran. I would do it if I wasn't at an Alabama Fishing the Bassmaster Open that same week. There's a chance that I'll be back in time and be a backup, but there's a chance that I can make day 3. Small chance. But I think that's it. All right, guys, I'm going to jump off here. Hey, no problem. Ryan, no problem. Jim. All right. We will see you all later. Thanks a lot.